This is the Algebra 1, Section 5.5 video lesson on standard form. So it's our last form of a line equation for a line. And in this section, we're going to graph linear equations using intercepts. That's from the standard form. And then we're going to write linear equations in standard form. So here's standard form. It's just a number times x plus a number times y equals a number. And usually these numbers, and they are integers, so no fractions. And let's look at the first question. What are the x and y intercepts of the graph? So here in this form, it's really easy to find the x and y intercepts because remember the x-intercept is when y equals 0 and the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So it's easy to, when you're in this form, just get rid of the x, solve for the y, get rid of the y, solve for the x. So let's look at the first one. The x-intercept is when y equals 0. So let's plug 0 into this equation. What happens, right, when you multiply 4 times 0, this just goes away, right, because it's plus 0. So this is just 3x equals 24. And so then we just have to solve that equation. Let's divide both sides by 3, x equals 8. So the x-intercept is going to be 8, 0. And then the y-intercept is going to be when x equals 0. So we do the same thing, plug 0 in here. This just 0 times 3 is 0, so that just goes to 0. So we just have to solve for y equals 24. Divide 4 on both sides, so y equals 6. So the y-intercept is 0, 6. So that is how you find the x and y-intercepts, and it's easily done in standard form. Okay, so here's one for you to try on your own. What are the y and x intercepts of the graph of this line? So press pause, try this on your own, and then check back for the solution. Okay, so here when you plug in 0 for y, you get 5x equals 60, so x is 12. And here when x is 0, the y-intercept is negative 6y equals 60, divided by negative 6, and you get negative 10, so 0, negative 10. Okay, so what is easy with standard form, if you can find the x and the y-intercept, you can just graph them, and when those are 2 points, then you have a line. So this is how we graph in standard form. So we're going to find the x-intercept first, that's when y equals 0. So we have x equals negative 2, so that's going to be negative 2, 0, so we can plot that point. And then let's find the y-intercept, that's when x equals 0, right? That gets rid of that x, so we have negative 2y equals negative 2, divide both sides by negative 2, and y equals 1. So then that is 0, 1. So then we can plot that point. Now we have 2 points. And we can just connect the dots, and there's your line. So there's the graph. Okay, so try this next one on your own. Same way, find the x-intercept, the y-intercept. This time, plot them on the graph, and then connect them to get the graph of the line. So press pause and try this on your own, and check back for the solution. Okay, so hopefully here you got that the x-intercept was 10, 0, and you would have had to extend this graph to plot that point, and then the y-intercept is 0, 4, which is there, so you can just connect the dots, and there's your line. Okay, and then we're moving on to vertical and horizontal lines. So whenever you have just x equals a number, it's just going to be a vertical line, right? Because x is here. This means you can actually go on the x-axis, find the 3, and just make a vertical line through that number. This line, every single point on this line has an x equals 3. So it doesn't matter what the y is. And then when you have y equals a number, this is going to be a horizontal line. And so you go on the y-axis, find your 3, and then draw a horizontal line right through that point. And that means every point on this line is going to have a y coordinate of 3. Okay, so x equals a number, it's vertical, y equals a number, it's horizontal, and then find that number on the axis, and then draw either the horizontal or the vertical line through that point. So try this for C and D. Press pause and then check back for your solution. Okay, so here you have a vertical line through x equals 4 and a horizontal line through y equals 1. Moving on. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to take a line that's in a different form and write it in standard form, but only using integers, remember. So in order to do that, we need to, if there is a fraction, we need to bust the fraction. In order to do that, we're going to find the the least common denominator of all the fractions. In this case, we have one fraction and the denominator is a 7. So we're going to multiply this whole equation by 7. That means every single term gets a 7. So 7 times y, 7 times negative 3/7 x, and then 7 times 5. So we're going to rewrite this as 7y equals, and the whole reason we did this was to cancel. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So those 7's go away. This is negative 3x plus, and then 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, then we just want to bring this, the x and y on the same side. So we're going to undo a minus 3x by adding 3x to both sides. So this goes away and we're left with 35 on this side, and then on this side we have 3x plus 7y. Remember, the x goes first. It's of the form ax plus by equals c, where each a, b, and c are integers. Okay, so try that on this one and press pause and then check back for the solution. Okay, for this one, this actually is just one term since this is in parentheses, so you can just multiply this by 3 to get rid of that 3, and then it's negative 1 times x plus 6. And then this has to get a 3, so 3y, and this has to get a 3, so negative 6. And then you just have to distribute your negative 1, and then get your x over here, and get the 6 out of over here, and they actually cancel to be 0. So it's x plus 3y equals 0. Okay, and then just a little summary about our linear equation. So from the last couple sections, we had slope-intercept form, which is this y equals mx plus b, point-slope form, which is this form here, and then standard form, which is here. And this is the same line in all three forms. And so you can see, right, you can use the y-intercept, the 6, and the slope, negative 2/3, to write it like slope-intercept form. You can use the 0.34 and the slope, negative 2/3, to write it in this form. And then a standard form, you can use the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So when x is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, so that's a 9. And then when y is 6, that 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, that's it. Time for practice. Enjoy.